Good morning. Tax Tip Tuesday 15 out of 52. Whether to trade as a sole trader or a limited company. Now, this is a complex subject. I've listed in the post many of the things that you would want to consider, but by all means, not all of them. I could talk about this for hours, but for the purpose of Tax Tip Tuesday, I'll concentrate on the tax implications. Sometimes we get clients that come along, they've been trading as a sole trader for several years, profits have been increasing, and we think, why has nobody suggested incorporating this business? This client would have been better off incorporating when profits reached a certain amount. They'd have been paying less tax as a limited company compared to a sole trader. On the flip side to that, sometimes we take on clients that have been trading as a limited company from day one. There's no clear reason as to why, and actually, at the level of profit they're making, they'd have been better off as a sole trader. Now, I would always suggest getting the advice of an accountant before making this decision of whether to trade as a sole trader or a limited company. But if you do want to sit down and try and go at this alone or try and do the calculations of which one's better for you and your business, then you need to think about not only the tax that you would pay on the profit as a sole trader compared to the corporation tax that you'd pay on the profit of a limited company, but also how much money you want and need to remove from the company. So how much you're going to take out as a salary, how much you're going to take out as dividends. That all needs taking into account. There's no point assuming that you would remove all of the profit from the company and working out the personal tax that you would pay on that as a low salary and dividends, for example, if actually you wouldn't need to take all of that money out of the company. So you need to sit down and be realistic about your individual financial position. And the other thing that needs consideration and that can be very important to get right from day one is actually whether there's not only going to be anybody else involved in the actual business, but anybody else in your family, I'll use spouse as an example, that can be brought into that business as a shareholder, and how from a tax point of view it would be best to set up that company to utilise everybody's individual tax position in the best way overall. For example, you can set a company up with alphabet shares, different share classes that you can pay out different dividend rates at. So as a shareholder, you could take a different dividend to the dividend that the company pays to your spouse. These decisions can have a huge impact on the amount of tax you are paying overall from a company and personally as directors and or shareholders of the company. So there is a lot to think about here. I really would advise to get to speak to an accountant before making these decisions. But if you do go at it alone, make sure you're looking at the full picture, not just the profit and the tax payable on the profit. Have a lovely day, everyone.